standing ovation.
He beat the feds.
Because he beat the feds.
The judge made a pointed statement when he denied Diddy's bail, saying, "The application for bail is denied for the reasons that I said." He backed that up by referencing what Diddy's own lawyers had admitted during the trial, that Diddy had a documented history of violence. They didn't even attempt to dispute the fact that Diddy had assaulted women on multiple occasions. By essentially conceding that their client was violent, the defense left the door wide open for the judge to send Diddy back to jail, which is exactly what happened. Now, regarding sentencing, each of the two counts for transportation to engage in prostitution carries a maximum of 10 years, meaning Diddy could face up to 20 years in prison. Prosecutors have argued that, based on preliminary sentencing guidelines, Diddy should serve a minimum of 51 to 63 months, roughly 4 to 5 years. They're also urging the judge not to go below that range. In contrast, Diddy's lawyers are pushing for a much lighter sentence of just 21 to 27 months, citing the fact that he has already served nearly a year in jail. Their hope is that he can get time served and avoid going to federal prison altogether. But here's the twist. Federal judges are not required to follow sentencing guidelines. While they must consider them, they are ultimately only advisory, thanks to the landmark Supreme Court case United States v. Booker. In that case, a judge handed down a 30-year sentence when guidelines recommended 21 years and 10 months. Supreme Court ruled that judges have the discretion to deviate from the guidelines as long as they provide a written explanation. So, when people talk about how much time Diddy is looking at based on a chart or point system, those are just starting points. The judge could very well go above or below that range, depending on legally justifiable reasons. And based on how this judge has handled Diddy's case so far, it's not looking great for him. The judge appears to be laying the groundwork for a harsher sentence, citing a propensity for violence multiple times, once back in November, and again more recently. That language could easily be used in a written justification if the judge decides to sentence Diddy above the guideline range. Even Diddy's bail hearing hinted at this direction. The judge didn't just deny bail, he scheduled sentencing for October. That's months away from now, meaning Diddy will remain in jail until then. It felt deliberate, almost like the judge was saying, "I've seen enough. Go back to jail, and I'll deal with you later." Throughout the trial, the judge has had to reprimand Diddy multiple times, telling him to stop making faces, to stop staring down jurors, even threatening to remove him from the courtroom. These courtroom behaviors, combined with the judge's repeated references to Diddy's violent history, paint a clear picture. The judge sees Diddy as a serious risk, not just to the public, but to the integrity of the judicial process. Adding fuel to that fire are the letters submitted to the court. Former employees and alleged victims, including Diddy's former personal chef, Jordan Atkinson, wrote letters begging the judge to deny bail and expressing fear for their safety if Diddy were released.
8.
These letters, combined with the trial testimony and public sentiment, will all be weighed during sentencing. The chef, in particular, claimed she feared for her life just for speaking out. That kind of public concern can absolutely influence a judge's decision. Some speculate that the judge might run Diddy's sentences concurrently, meaning he would serve both at the same time for a maximum of 10 years. But again, he's not obligated to do that. Under federal law, the judge has full discretion to make the sentences consecutive, which would give Diddy up to 20 years in prison. And based on everything we've seen, from courtroom behavior to the judge's stern remarks, that outcome is not off the table. To be clear, this isn't like dealing with a local court or state judge. This is a federal judge. He doesn't have to do anything aside from explain his decision in writing. So all those people defending Diddy or downplaying the seriousness of the case might be in for a rude awakening come October. The arrogance shown by Diddy's legal team admitting violent behavior as if it were irrelevant may seriously backfire. Saying things like, "We're not going to deny he stomped a woman in an Escalade," But that's not what this case is about, is a risky move when the judge still has to determine sentencing. At the end of the day, the final decision is entirely in the judge's hands. He believes Diddy poses an ongoing threat or that his conduct warrants more than a slap on the wrist. Then he has every legal right to deliver a harsh sentence. The only requirement? Write a brief explanation. That's the power a federal judge holds. And in this case, Diddy may be learning that the hard way.